because the Ohio, I would probably need to buy my own ticket, get accommodation.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and the Mastercard is just pick your handbag and let's. My parents were like, "Go, go, go, go," and then some people are like, "How do you go to Russia?" Around 9 p.m., the sun was so there. So I'm like, "What's happening?" The other one was we're taking to there's this popular river in Paris called River Seine. If you don't even understand French, you are good to go.
Mastercard takes care of all your needs. You don't really have to spend anything, out of pocket from anywhere. Are you allowed to work outside, the school?
Initially, when I landed there, I was like, "Is this like, is this Accra with some white people?"
So
I can't even describe. I'm so tired and unable to leave my room. Choose your friends well. Whoever you choose to become your friend, your life in one way or the other is going to be like your friend.
when I finished high school, my parents couldn't. There was no way they could actually sponsor me in the university. I'm telling you, if I come to you to guide me to get a Mastercard scholarship to study abroad, what will you tell me?
First,
All right, before we start, consider subscribing to the channel. This helps me so much. Thank you.
So you are a Mastercard scholar, right?
yes, I am.
How did you become one?
Actually, let me state that I'm two-time Mastercard scholar, so
Mm,
that's quite a lot. And becoming a Mastercard scholar is just like any other scholarship, but maybe we can say because of the expectation, the competition ahead, because of the package it comes with, there's a lot of competition, and maybe you have to put yourself up to that tax to to
mm.
to to becoming a Mastercard scholar. So the journey is quite long. If you want me to outline it, is
Yeah. So you said you are a two-time Mastercard scholar. So can you tell me about the first one, and then we can talk about the second one? So the first one, what did you do? At what stage in your educational journey were you in when you started, when you got that one, and all of that? The process, the application materials and stuff.
okay. The first one was actually for undergraduates, and I think we have that scholarship in some universities in Africa. I know in Ghana we have it in the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and then in Aseshi, which is a private university in Accra. So
Okay.
that's the only two universities that offer this scholarship in Ghana.
Mm.
So it's like when you finish your undergraduate, you have to, in Ghana we have what we call awaiting application, and then those that do the normal application.
Yeah.
Usually is that the normal and the awaiting applicants, you can't apply to the scholarship. You have to wait a year. It is so because by the time you will be writing your YC exams, the application deadline might have passed. So you will have to wait the following year to pass through the application before the school admission. So it's like after completing ACHS in Ghana, you have to wait a year before you apply the scholarship. So when I completed my ACHS, that's the high school, in 2018, I have to
Mm.
wait till 2019 to apply to the scholarship. I think first, initially, the scholarship has metamorphosized in different ways. I think the first package was ended in, we were the last batch of the first package, and then the second contract begins. The scholarship is such that maybe it comes in contracts. If a school perform well, if they produce good graduates, their graduates are able to do good things, then the scholarship continues. So we were the last batch of KNUSC first contract. So when we were coming, we were just I think at our time they recruited about 150 people, and the aim is always that they recruit the best of ACHS graduates, and more importantly, they want the gender equality.
Mm.
Usually they want boys and girls to be equal, or 70% girls and then maybe boys less.
Okay.
So in the application can be daunting, to be sincere. As an SHS graduate, when you pick the application form, I know a lot of my colleagues who just looked at the application form and they have to fold. They said no way they can complete it because
Yeah.
you have a 15-page document you have to fill.
Right.
It's crazy, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's not just that you can sit in your room and fill everything. First, you need recommendation letters. And you will even be surprised that that's the first time I had recommendation letter. So I have to, you first, the recommendation letter is like you need to get some from one from somebody who can attest to your academic achievements, and someone who can attest to your community involvement. Because if you check, the whole aim of Mastercard is to produce transformative leaders, people that want to help build the community.
Mm.
So if they want to recruit you, they will want to be assured that previously you've already done something to help the society.
Yeah.
So they require three recommendation letters. At my time, I think the process keeps changing, but I think it's still the same as now. I checked the last application, it was still three recommendation letters. So the idea is for you to don't take all of them from your high school, because that would be an attestation to your academic performance or leadership
Mm.
performance on campus alone, and will not touch on your community. So my approach was like, because usually these scholarships, you matter how you read, you may not know a lot. So I guess I get in touch with somebody who has already gotten it, and he told me that make sure you get letters from these different kind of people. So first I went to our, in Ghana we have what we call assemblyman.
Yeah.
Those people, they are involved in the most basic community,
Yeah.
yeah,
Stuff.
development.
Mm.
So I went to our assembly member. Initially I went to the chief, but probably our chief can't write a recommendation letter. So I went to the assembly member, and then some of them, they'll just say, okay, the way it is, you've done this, write it and come. I will read and proofread it. If it's right of what you've done,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
good for you. I did the same. Then I took one from my basic school, because I've done incredible things at the basic school. So I went there for another one then at the high school, which was even an attestation to maybe what I think gave me an upper hand in the scholarship. So
Mm.
I took three. Actually, I took four, because when I went to the high school, I just said that maybe let me take four, because I took one from the school's headmaster and one from my HOD, which were all part of the package. I think usually people don't apply to the scholarship because of these recommendation letters. It
Mm.
gives you hell to get them. For
Yeah.
me, maybe probably my end, it was easy for me, but I know colleagues who couldn't get them because of one or two things. Maybe they
Mm.
are staying far away from their high school, and
Yeah.
Ghanaian high school system is not like a university. You can sit somewhere and email a professor to write
That's
for
true.
you. It,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. So it
Yeah.
was complicated. And the other thing is, they ask you a whole lot of things that in Ghana we don't keep records on. First of all, you have to your family income,
Yeah.
your annual income, your expenses on food, your light bills, your father's pay slips, and other things. So for we those whose parents are in government workers, it means that we don't have any attestation to our parents'
Yeah.
income. So one idea was to go to the court and swear an affidavit that
Mm.
my parents are unemployed, they are farmers, and their income comes from there. And as a farmer, you don't have any document to show your income. So we were using the court affidavit as a document to attest that, oh, my father is really a farmer and this is his source of income. But this experience, usually I inquire from a lot of my colleagues. Most of them said that they didn't get affidavit, they just said that their parents are unemployed. And in Ghana, they do understand that not all of us can
Yeah.
provide the document. And that was another thing. It was also slip away. I think, and then some essays, they will ask you to write. You write some essays,
How
and
many?
I can't recollect, but one of them is just most of the essays is just about one was about your goals for the how your education with the scholarship will help you give back to your community. So it's like they trying to see what is in your mind. How do you think the scholarship will help you come back to build your community? That one
Mm.
was just 100 words. The space they give you is 100 words. So that's where the problem is. If it's 1,000 words, I can write a lot. But 100 words, by the time you start
Yeah.
the introduction,
Yeah.
everything is gone. So it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult. And then there's a section where you just list the like problems in your community with regards to sanitation, with regards to culture, with regards to education. Yeah.
High school level, and they're asking all these questions,
Oh,
man.
that's why most people don't tend to.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. Initially, when we were applying, I think the competition was high, but not that high, because that time people don't really know the benefits of the scholarship. So they just look at the effort you have to put in, and then they just step out. But
Mm.
after subsequently, when they see how people in those scholarships were benefiting, now the scholarships, like people keep now started applying, and the competition, I believe now is maybe tougher than our time, to be
Mm.
sincere. Sometimes I even like I just thank the new recruits. I'm like, you guys are really incredible, because I don't know if I was still part of the this current squad, I would be recruited. But that's just it. People now, the competition is high, the application process can be cumbersome, but the benefits are worth it. That's what I have to
Mm.
say. And I forgot one important part of the application process. After you applied, then you email it through a mail. You have to, it's compulsory that you email it through a post office. After emailing them, maybe if you're lucky, they call you for the process keep changing. One is that they will have to visit your home to attest to all the things you've said, because
Wow.
you describe that your family, you even describe the materials they use to build your accommodation,
Yeah.
whether you are renting, whether you own it, and if you own it, what is it, zinc, is it tash, is it, you have to describe a whole lot of things. So they will come to visit you. My experience, this is how the visit goes. If you put a guardian there and they comes and meet the guardian, they don't need you yourself. They'll just talk to the guardian. Me, for instance, when they come and then they met my father, actually they didn't even speak to me. It was just some greetings and that was all. They say they don't need me. I should just step out. So now your
Yeah.
father, they'll have to ask some questions in the application to confirm from your father. So
Wow.
like when they went and then I asked my father, it was like the first question was, who is Sreya? And Sreya is actually my sister who I said was in basic school. So they asked, who is Shreya? Then my father is like, oh, Shreya is his sister is in the basic school. Then they asked again, they asked of another one of my brothers again. And then the story corroborates. Then I didn't know of the other questions. So, but this is how the application process can be tricky.
Did they let you know they were coming?
No, you won't have any
So
idea
it's
that they're
just
coming.
random visits. Oh, wow.
It's just a random visit.
Ah.
But one thing that I was fortunate about is that when I was applying, I have a colleague that I was going through the application process with. So when they visited him, he called me that I should expect the people because they just visited him. And
Ah.
because we live in one of Ghana's most remote area. I come from Upper West.
Mm.
So usually when they go there, if they visit this person, you know that definitely they will have to come to you because they don't have
Yeah,
enough days
that's true.
to postpone the visiting.
Yeah.
So I was expecting them.
Mm.
For me, it's like I have 2 hours to expect them. But for my friend, he was there and then they called him that we are this place, come. Then you direct them to your family house. But for me, they just walked straight to my family
Yeah.
house and then they were questioning people. I think that's one thing that kind of makes the application process believable, unlike other Ghanaian scholarships.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
quality is there. You feel that there's nothing to hide about it.
That's true.
All the
Yeah.
process. And after that, you'll be called for an interview again.
Wow.
Exactly. You go for now they do the interview via Zoom, but for our time, you have to go to Kumasi for the interview.
Mm.
You go and then you have this, you see a lot of people, then they tell you, they won't tell you the number of people they want, but you yourself, you check previous numbers, like previously they recruited 100 people, then you know for yourself, this batch that maybe they are going to get 100 people or 120 or even less. And you people, all usually they call region by region. Our date when we were going, we went there, Upper West and Upper East. So I know we're over 50 people, and the whole Ghana they wanted 100 people. So you can see the competition.
Yeah, and they if they select maybe 100 from Upper East and Upper West in Accra, they'll probably select 300. Because it's more
Exactly.
populated. Yeah.
You can imagine more
Yeah.
populated, more high schools, more applicants.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Wow.
see. So that was as we're on the queue to the interview. You have to say all your prayer words. You have all your prayer words. And then you can imagine a high school student. You
Yeah,
sit in
man.
an you sit in an interview with profs on
Huh.
either side of the table, and then the chairman is sitting there. And one thing that was challenging for me at the interview was that I couldn't look people straight in their eyes and talk. And there's this thing that if you are lying and you are looking straight on somebody's face, the person can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
the prof, was a prof, it was a reverend father. He wanted me to look straight in his face and then tell him my story. But I couldn't do that. So whenever I bent my face, he would say, "Look me on the face." So I was kind of destabilized and I couldn't
Yeah.
even say some things well. But at the end, it went well. So after the interview, you have
So
to.
what were you asked during the interview? What were some of the things?
I think the interview is just practically based on your application. For
Okay.
example, that's for the KNUST one. I think the thing is that I was having a good WASI result.
Mm,
So they were like, you have this results and you've sat home for a year. What's the reason? Can't you find somebody in the village to help you? I think this was one of the toughest questions for me. That's why I can
yeah.
still recollect it
Yeah.
very well. So I have to quickly, I told them that my guidebook, initially they posed this question. They asked me, who is the highest person, like in terms of status or maybe money, maybe when we say status, who has a lot of money in your community. And
Yeah.
then I mentioned this man who was actually a deputy governor of Bank of Ghana during, I think, before rolling through around the 70s. And the man was still there and very prosperous. So I mentioned him. So they asked me, why didn't I approach him so that he can help me with my fees? So I'm like, that was where the challenge comes. I've already mentioned somebody who is rich, and now why didn't I approach him if I really want to go to school? So it was, I have to. I think now if it was now, it would be easy for me to answer. But that time,
You
I
were too
don't,
young to be able
I, wa-
to answer
exactly, I was too
unexpected
young.
questions like that. Yeah.
Exactly, it was tough. But I just told them that village, we have this kind of extended families, and the person himself has a lot of burden on him
Yeah.
that he has to take care of. So me going, I know that if I go, I won't even stand a chance. And
Yeah.
it's not because I'm precluding, but I've had someone who had even better results than mine, who went there and didn't get help.
Mm,
So, but that portion was just a little addition.
yeah.
So to
Yeah.
just
That makes sense. Yeah.
strengthen my point.
Yeah.
But I think that was the interview, and then what else? I think that was one. That's a question I can. Okay, that
So
time.
after yeah, so after the interview, what next? And yeah, and what was the package, the whole package of the Mastercard scholarship that you got?
Okay, I think after the interview, you have to just go back to your community and be waiting. So that's exactly what we did. And then later on, we were lucky to receive emails. That was another thing. That time we don't even attend to emails, and the message will have to come through an email. Some people they do call them, but where I was staying, to call me was a bit complicated. You can imagine if call going through is complicated. What about data?
Yeah.
Email. So, but I was fortunate that the email came. There were a lot of things because initially they were trying to reach me via call. They couldn't because my own was having a few problems. I was actually, I got two admissions. KNUST have this admission policy that less endowed admissions and then applicants. The
Mm,
less endowed is actually for senior high schools that don't have facilities up to a certain standard. And Ghana Education Service has categorized them as less endowed. So I got an admission from the less endowed as a law student. Then again, per my own application, the application that I bought, I was admitted to read economics. And so the scholarship was like, okay, this badge of scholars, your contract is only 4 years. So you don't have, for your law, we can't sponsor you, but for the
economics.
economics, we can help you. So initially, they had, even because they couldn't reach me, they're like, every person will want to do the law and abandon the economics. So they didn't, after they tried and they couldn't reach me, they just concluded that maybe I wouldn't even need it after all. So after waiting, I didn't get any call. I have to call them myself. So it's after calling that the man then asked me, would you go for economics or for law? Then I have to make a hard choice. I said I will call him back. Then quickly I have to call one of my seniors who is already benefiting from the scholarship in law. He then told me that the law, maybe the LLB will be easy, but law school, the fees there is outrageous. and I know you, I know your background, you may not be able to fund it. So
Uh-huh.
I will humbly suggest that you go for the economics. So when he said that, he's somebody that I actually believe. So
Yeah.
I just called them that I'll go for the economics. And then that's where maybe later days I got the email that I've been selected for the scholarship. And the package in KNUST is quite, maybe the first time getting a scholarship, it was, let me say, heaven on earth.
Wow.
Yeah, for somebody like me at the time, for it comes this way, all your tuition will be paid. They won't give you the money to be paid. You'll just be there, then it will be paid into your school accounts. We have an app you go to check your school fees, make payments through that. You just go and check the account and it has been paid. And then again, you have accommodation. The accommodation, you don't need to search for it. We have this accommodation in KNUST, where, when I say KNUST, maybe the non-Ghanaians, that's the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Okay.
Yeah, we have this accommodation that everybody craves for, because that's the toughest is on campus, and is very gas hostel. So everybody wants that hostel. They will give you that hostel. You don't need to search for it. They will give you that
Wow.
one, pay it for you. And then again, they have what we call evening meals. Maybe they say that after class you are tired, you can't prepare food. So they will give you supper as well.
From a restaurant?
Yeah, from a restaurant. They have
Wow.
different restaurants. They will just distribute the scholars. You
Huh.
are to this restaurant. So evening
Man.
you go to the
Eh.
restaurants and take your supper for
Ah.
free.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that's how wow I was when I read the agreement
Yeah.
letter.
What about living expenses like clothing and transportation, stuff like that?
Yeah, for transportation, if we're in Ghana, every semester they give you your transport, both going and coming back. But that the thing is that they just give a flat rate. Maybe they can give everybody 400, three
Okay.
hundred. That's
Okay.
your transportation, going and coming. Every semester they gives you. Then your living expenses, they give you stipend. So when we were recruited in 2019, we were given 400 cities
Every semester.
every month.
Huh. National service 1 month they receive 600 or so, and you guys were receiving like 400 in. Wow. And
2019.
and
That time, my brother who was doing national service was receiving 500, and I was receiving
like 500 a month, and you were receiving 400 every sorry, five you were receiving
400 a month.
400 a month, he was receiving 500 a month.
And they get to give me supper, they get to
Yeah,
give me accommodation.
accommodation, like, man. Huh.
That's why I said it's like heaven on earth as at that time for me. And that's not all. You get what we call stationary allowance.
Okay.
That allowance is for you to buy every academic material you need, like your pens, your pencils, your
Wow.
books, those that do a lot of drawings and other things, like your calculators. Even we those that were
Man.
like me as an economic student, there were some textbooks that maybe, like, now I will call them reference books. I didn't it's now understand I shouldn't have even bought those books. They are just reference books. But because the stationery allowance was there,
So what if you don't spend all?
the thing is that there was this thing attached to it, to the stationery allowance. They gives you a certain amount. You first have to make a request. You outline whatever you need, just like a budget, every item and the is
Price.
expected amount you spend on it.
Mm.
Then you submit it to the offices.
Ah.
So they will then give you an amount according to your budget.
Ah. Okay.
So when you don't spend all, you have to go and make accounts, what we call accounts. You send receipts.
Ah.
You have to
Wow.
send receipts of whatever you bought, and then the
Interesting.
change you give them. But if there is deficit, you can actually get it. But deficit, getting it could be hard.
Difficult.
But,
Mm.
but some people do get, others have different opinions. But me, I've always been on budgets. Like they will just be, maybe I'll have to give them 5 CD, I'll have to give them 0 pesos. I will always make sure that that is
Yeah.
done. Yeah. I
Wow.
think
That's
yeah.
amazing. I mean, with all of that, man, it means that you definitely did well in school, right? Because with all this food and transportation, accommodation, like man, you've really enjoyed. Some of us were hustling, but you were enjoying.
Yeah,
You
like
enjoy it.
sometimes
It's
it's like that. I
yeah,
have a lot of my colleagues in class. When you see their lives, then you don't tend to appreciate what you have. But when
yeah,
you approach a colleague, then he discusses issues. Then
yeah,
you tend to appreciate what you're going through
yeah,
and what you have, and you
yeah,
appreciate it more.
yeah.
Yeah,
So in your case, you applied to KNUST at the same time you apply for the scholarship, right? You did the two at the same time. Is that how it
exactly,
works? Okay, okay.
exactly. You have they go concurrently.
Mm,
You apply to KNUSC, then you apply to the scholarship all at the same time.
mm.
All at the same time.
And right now you are in France, right?
Yes, right now.
You go, so after your bachelor's degree at KNUST in economics, you apply for the Mastercard again, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
can you tell me about what you had to do, and do you think your previous Mastercard scholarship had a role in you getting the second one to study in France?
Wouldn't say I would say it play a part for me personally, but my experience with other people maybe told me that maybe it's not necessarily that. But I think that one kind of build my profile to make me a
Mm,
competitive candidate for that
okay,
scholarship.
okay. It
For
gave you an
example,
advantage, but then you don't necessarily have to have the first one before you get the second one, right?
exactly that one
Okay.
is outright. You don't need to have the previous one because
Mm,
the current scholars were about 20, and I can say that I know of 4 students who were previously Mastercard scholars. The rest didn't even know that there's Mastercard undergraduates.
mm, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. So the thing is that you asked me, I've got forgotten your question.
Yeah, so like I wanted to know the process, what you did for you to get the second scholarship. And the first one you submitted an application, and this one too, what was the application process like? And also you applied to France, right? So why did you end up in France?
Okay, the application process is quite similar to the KUST one, but maybe because now I'm grown, I'm tempted to say is less, let me say, less daunting.
Mm,
The application process is not as cumbersome to that of KNUST.
okay, okay.
So this one too is just the KNUST one kind of, let me say, bold me
Yeah.
to be more competitive to this one
Mm,
in a sense that this one you have to show one, you have to show leadership, you have to show that you are able to give back to your community. And
mm,
how will you show that you give back to your community? You show that with your previous activities. And in KUAC, we have this thing we call community service. As after every end of year vacation, you are required to go and do something for your community. So that those kind of activities were included in my profile in applying to a SciencePo, which actually gave me a heads up and make me a
mm.
competitive candidate for it. But for the SciencePo, the application process is even more intertwined than
What is Science Pro?
SciencePo is that's the school in which I am currently.
Okay.
So you know the Mastercard scholarship is in different schools. It has what we call the graduate schools. It has what we call the undergraduate one. So the graduate schools, there are a lot. SciencePo happens to be one of them. So the SciencePo is just a shortcut for Paris Institute of Political Studies.
Mm,
So here they just call it SciencePo. Mostly you will hear SciencePo before you even hear the full name.
mm,
So that's the name of it. The application process, as I was saying, is more intertwined than that of KNUST. At the time when I was applying, which is last year, you have an application for SciencePo and then you have an application for Mastercard. But
mm,
you have to do them concurrently because the school application comes with application fee. But obviously that was too high for us to pay. So what you do is that first you apply to the scholarship. As you are applying to the scholarship, you open an account in the school application so that when you submit your scholarship application, they have what we call it's just like a preview. They preview the scholarship to see whether you are eligible, you meet the eligibility criteria. So when you meet them, they don't waive the application fees for you. So when they waive it for you, you follow up to apply for the school. By then you've already submitted your application for the scholarship.
Mm.
So you
Okay.
then submit your application to the school as well. But that process has changed this year. This year there's a section added to the school application. You don't need to go to a different website to apply to the scholarship. There's something that has been added to the school
Mm.
application, more like a section, which is dedicated to the Mastercard scholarship. It's called
Okay.
they just call it financial services. Then when you click it, the Mastercard scholarship will come, and then when you select it, all the previous questions regarding the Mastercard scholarship that we filled on a separate website, you have to fill them in that application.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you have to take any tests, like GRE or something?
No, I think for the school requirements, they don't require anything like GRE or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't require anything like that.
Okay. And okay, so what are the application materials?
For both the scholarship and the school or the school
Yeah, yeah, both. Yeah, since you said they are, intertwined, so like
intertwined.
if you can,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for the school, it's just like any graduate school. What is important is that your transcript must be ready, your certificate, your language proficiency must be ready. You know,
What language proficiency did you have?
you see, the king and the school here, though it's in France, the education is kind of is different. Every course comes with its own language. So when you go, maybe the course I'm doing is in English. Somebody else in the same school doing a different course, but the course is in French.
Okay.
So it's kind of so when you are applying, then they will ask you, are you proficient in that language? If it's yes, what do you have to prove that?
Mm.
So the language proficiency is there. So for we those from Ghana or any other English speaking country, we just take letters from maybe our English
Okay.
department or anywhere to present as English
Okay.
proficiency.
Okay.
Exactly. And then you have what recommendation letters.
Mm.
Their recommendation letters is kind of different. I don't know because they don't send it to you; they send it to the prof.
Okay.
But per my experience, it has showed me something from somebody's inability to submit his whole application because of that. When they
Wow.
send, unlike other applications, it's like you just have to upload. The lecturer will have to upload the recommendation letter.
Yeah.
This one is not like that. The recommendation comes in sections in which the lecturer will have to write
Yeah.
under different sections
Yeah. Different questions, and then they have to write something about you. Yeah.
about you.
Yeah.
So if it so happens that he omits one, then it may
Wow.
not work. I have a colleague who one actually didn't work out because of that kind of mistake.
Man, it's
it's
not
it,
easy.
it's no,
It's not
I
easy.
just it was crazy because the lecturer didn't write about his research work. It's like there's a part where you have to talk about the students' um
Ability to do research.
ability to do research and write academically.
Mm.
So it's like
Wow.
some of us when you are filling the form, you just skip some things. Those things you think they are not necessary. So that's
Yeah.
what I believe that's what the professor did. And then the school
Uh,
told him that he has to either resubmit an application letter or his application will be cancelled. And
wow.
truly, because he couldn't get another professor to attest to his academic writing ability or whatever, his application was dropped. It was
Wow.
disastrous, heartbroken. But that's how
Man.
it can be. And then for the Mastercard scholarship, what you need is that you need that one. You need financial. Well, just like the KUS, you need some things to attest your financial need. So for me coming as a Mastercard scholar, I just submitted my previous Mastercard scholarship to show that I was already benefiting from this.
Mm.
So before I've asked some of my colleagues the kind of documents they submitted because they were in scholarship. Some were telling me that you have to submit experience 3 months
Payslip.
pay slip. Usually people get the step when they ask them to submit their pay slips. You feel that your parents' salary is too much or whatever. Let me tell you, no matter how huge your salary is in Ghana, here is nothing.
It's
Oh.
nothing. That's true. Yeah.
Like, if your father is even taking 5,000, it cannot pay for your studies here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I was telling somebody who wanted
Yeah.
to apply.
Okay.
You put the pay slip there. Unless, of
Yeah.
course, your father's pay slip is 500,000
Maybe a
Ghana cedis.
minister or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. We even have the financial need is there, but I have somebody here. When you ask some people about their background, you think that, oh, then if needy is really attached to the scholarship, then these people shouldn't have gotten it. But you realize that it's not only the needy component they look up to. If your leadership skills are outstanding, sometimes I just believe that they may
Okay.
overlook the needy part because they need to
Uh,
train people to go do some things for Africa.
wow.
Yeah, so I think that's the major document that you need, your financial things for the scholarship.
Mm,
That's just it. And some
mm,
essays you have to write about. One, you have to write about your community give back. You have to submit your CV, and then you have to write about your journey, like your education journey from wherever you want to start from.
yeah.
And I think there are three essays, and each of them is 250 words.
Uh,
So that's the trouble as to how
yeah.
you will fit your whole educational journey into 250 words.
Yeah.
It's kind of trouble. So I know it worries me a lot. And people that gives me their essays to review for them is just you end up writing about the wrong thing, writing less about the correct thing, and much about the wrong thing. So
Yeah.
it's always a problem for them. I think that's the documents that they need. That's the important one. If I
Yeah.
didn't recollect anything, it means it's not
Not.
that
Yeah.
important and you can easily get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody hearing that you're a Mastercard scholar will be thinking, oh, he's enjoying life and all of that. But from this conversation so far, like, you've gone through so much to be able to get a scholarship. Even the first one, high school graduates, and then you had to write essays and get these recommendation letters. It's a lot of work, right? So the study abroad process, this is something I tell people. It's not easy. Like, you have to dedicate time and effort. You have to be willing to put in the work. If you don't want to put in the work, don't even start it at all, right? Don't even start it. So yeah, it's good that you are telling your story so that people will understand that it's a lot of work, and so you have to be willing to put in the work before you even start, that kind of thing. So your scholarship, what did they cover? The second one, did they cover your flights, your accommodation, everything?
One of my teachers used to say that he used to describe comfort. There's comfort in Ghana. He says that comfort scholarship is like the scholarship is asking you shit, and I'll even collect your fees for you. It's similar to this. It's like
Ah, okay.
everything
They
they
cover
did for
everything.
you.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
from Ghana up to here, like my every cost I incur in getting my visa, they will
Everything.
reimburse you. You can let them reimburse them whilst you are in Ghana, or you can come here and then take them. So they cover visa. That's number one. Then they get you a flight ticket to come.
Wow.
Then when you come, we have what we call a startup. When you travel to a foreign country, initially setting up is very difficult. So, and before they can pay, you need a bank account. And the bank accounts, you can't just create it. You can't create it at the moment you came. You can't do it. So you have to it has to take some time. So the startup is a cash. It's just cash they hand over to you. Hold this and be
Wow.
managing whilst we
Wow.
process your documents.
Hey man.
And
It's it's enjoyment.
it's
Hey.
a man. This is new environment too. So the startup covers like clothing. You have to get some clothes. You have to
Yeah.
get some cooking utensils.
Wow.
And I
Ah.
think and then maybe your transport, maybe you buying the tickets to. And one thing about here is that the school is not like maybe most of Ghanaian schools where there's accommodation in school and people stay there. That school, there's nobody stays at the school. The school is just like an office where everybody goes, and then after work they go
Like
back
high
home.
school. Like high
It's just
school.
like
Yeah.
is it high school or basic school?
Yeah. Okay, let's say basic school, yeah. So you
Yeah,
just
it's
go
like
in, then you leave. Yeah.
you live exactly. That's how it is.
Uh,
So they know definitely we are staying somewhere and we have to go to school. So that startup also cover your transportation
oh,
before they start giving you your stipend.
yeah.
So they
Yeah.
are all that's the first thing. And then obviously the stipend comes in But here, unfortunately, you have to use your stipend to pay your accommodation.
Mm,
That's what most people don't know before getting the scholarship. Like for instance, in KUSC, I don't have to pay accommodation out of my stipend.
uh,
They pay it and then I have my stipend. Here is otherwise. They give you the stipend, then from the stipend you pay.
but they give you enough money, right, to be able to pay and all of that, right?
Yeah. For them, they drew they have a where they made the estimates from. That's
Mm,
they know accommodation will cost you this. Your food for a month will cost you this. Your transport for the month. They estimate all of them and then they give you the stipend. Definitely, it's enough for you to live a normal life.
a
But
comfortable life. Don't say, don't tell me normal life. Comfortable life.
but it's not enough to chill a lot. That's what I say.
Oh, okay, okay, I see.
Yeah, it's not enough to chill a lot. So maybe if you want to go for bowling and other things, maybe a month you won't have anything left. It will just be exactly 0 0 left. Yeah.
So what about the flight? Was it economy or first class? What kind of flight?
Yeah, I think the flight was economy.
Economy.
It was economy. And then how they book the flight is that first like they give you an itinerary, then you approve it. Whether you like it or you don't.
Mm,
If you don't, then you tell them. If you also like it, then you approve of it. Then they buy the ticket for you.
mm.
So I think
S-
that's how it's
So
done.
they'll buy the ticket for you. You get to the airport, and then you have to get to the airport yourself, and then use a ticket to board the plane, right? They don't involve themselves with any of those things, right?
Exactly. They buy the ticket for you
Okay,
and then they just send you the receipt. Then when you go to I remember
airport.
when I got to the airport, one of the airline official was saying that because he asked me for my admission letter. Unfortunately, I don't know how that document skip
You forgot. You
I've
forgot it, right?
forgotten to take it.
Uh,
So it was a problem. So he's like, oh, that he knows me. I said, you know me? That our foundation booked the flight for me. I said, yes.
okay,
I'm like, oh, I didn't even know of
nice.
that. So he just let me through.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
think that
what about when you arrive in France? How did you get to your destination? Like all those things. Did you
yeah,
have help from them?
exactly. I think this is one of the most important this is one of the things I like about Mastercard. They usually make sure that if you're a scholar you don't get stranded.
Mm,
When we before we got to the airport, there were about two people waiting for us because I came with other people. So before we landed, there were people waiting for us.
mm.
And the moment we got down there, they took us from the airport to our rooms. So the rooms were already ready.
Hey,
So
man.
we just
Uh,
came. Yeah. But the thing is that I actually appreciate that thing because imagine you as a new person
yeah,
landing in the airport and
yeah,
then afterwards you have to navigate the train system. The
yeah,
train system is real mess if it's your
yeah,
first time. You
yeah,
can get lost in one station for a whole day looking for your
yeah.
way.
That's
You
true. Yeah,
decide you don't understand language. Where are you
yeah.
going to go? You don't even know where you're going. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think that's one thing that makes the Mastercard scholarship extraordinary.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about the visa process and what was the process like? Did you have to go for an interview?
I think European visa and then that of US is quite different.
Mm,
The Europe, the whole is like the whole of Europe outsourced their visa process to VFS.
mm,
So you go to VFS. It's not actually an interview. It's just a submitting of documents and biometric. So when you submit your documents, they just check to see that these documents are real, they are authentic,
mm,
and thereafter you take your biometrics. Then VSS will package your documents and forward them to. They take copies of your document because you send both original and photocopy. So when they
okay.
look through them, they'll then say, okay, these are real documents. Then they give you your original one and take the copied one.
Mm,
Then they plus your passport, and then they package it and send it to the embassy, for which you don't even know this process. I know they send it to the embassy because I've read about how the visa is processed. But
mm.
your work is just to go to
VFS
the
office.
VFS office
Mm,
and then have your biometric and submit your documents and come.
okay.
So usually it takes. I remember our time. I went there on Tuesday, and then after the biometric and everything, you either select whether your passport, you come and pick it up, or they should use a courier service.
Mm.
So I selected a courier service. So I was there. Then I received an email that the thing is that they won't tell you whether it has been approved or it has not been approved.
Yeah.
So you have to wait. When it gets to the courier service, you go and take it and then open. That's the suspension period. It's not like US or Canada that they bounce you at the moment you know your fate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I see.
but the thing was there's like for Europe they don't usually bounce students like that. It's
Mm.
US that have that kind of tension.
Yeah.
So Europe, I wasn't though I was a bit worried, but my friends was like, "Have you ever had a student whose visa has been bounced because of?"
Yeah.
So I was quite comfortable. So it came back. I think it came back on Monday, but others got theirs earlier than mine. I don't know why because it's like the courier service delayed mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went and picked it up, and when I opened, it was approved. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
So, given everything that Mastercard is giving you, and the fact that you always have to demonstrate your leadership, experience, community service, and all of these things, are you expected to go back to your home country after your program? Are you required to do that?
I think this is a usual confusion most people get, but it's not actually so. You are not under any obligation.
Okay, you don't sign anything, right?
You don't sign anything
Okay.
to go back because when we came here, we have a meetup with even our alumni who are working in France here. So you
Mm.
are not they for them it's like they believe that you can give back to your community in different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that you being present in Africa or anywhere. So after completion, you can decide to do whatever you do. They don't
Mm.
actually care. What they care is that you transition well into what you want. So for that, they
Okay.
will help you in every regard.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and you went to you chose France.
Yeah.
Did you have to choose France, or you could have chosen other places? Uh, and also, in France, did you apply to only the Science Pro, or there were other universities you could have applied to? Like, I
Mm.
just want to know how wide your net was, when you were applying.
Oh, this one,
Yeah.
it wasn't easy. This one, it's in the science school was even an afterthought.
Okay.
When I was this abroad study was actually something I planned with. Initially, I didn't have the mind of doing abroad studies or whatsoever. I I was fortunate to have this friend who is always obsessed with studying abroad.
Yeah.
So it's like, boy, me, I have to go outside and study. I'm like, why? For me, I just want job in Ghana to be cool, maybe be with my family and chill around. Then I think he instilled that kind of study
Yeah.
abroad in me. So when we graduated, I think we finished our exam somewhere in August, but we had this vision that if we want to proceed in this thing, we can't be dispersed or be doing something whilst doing it that one too at the same time. It will be as a mess. So first we decide on two things. The first thing was that we are going to try as much as we can to be teaching assistants because that one you are
Yeah.
in an environment that is pushing you to do what you want to do.
That's true.
And secondly, you get your recommendation letters probably
Easily.
easy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then we decided also that we won't go home from the period we completed our studies to the period we will be starting national service. That is from August to November. We all agreed that I won't go back to my village. She won't also go back. We then rented a room in one of the school accommodation. It was quite expensive because we were required a day to pay, was it 200 cedis or
Wow. Ah.
but, but we were able to beg the manager to subsidize it for us. So for 2 months we were required to pay 2,000 something. We begged to pay some 800 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
But I just want people this was like the passion for what we want to do.
Yeah.
And actually so when we now after incurring all this cost, we know what is at stake. Somebody may say he doesn't have money to do all these things. Me neither. I didn't have the money, but I just realized that when you want to do something, you get the money
Yeah.
regardless.
That's
Yeah,
true.
so that one I had to actually even I think it was from some savings I've made from my stipend and
Yeah.
some of my friends. joined me and Page in the room to do the application. So as we are applying, so we have in September, October, 2 months to do the application, even including November, because that time we will start national service in November, but the work wouldn't be burdensome because students hadn't returned to the
Yeah.
school. So all these 3 months was just for applications. So our we have this idea when we wake up, we don't get to sit in the room. We pick our laptops, then we go to the library, the school library, or we go to the study room. Then,
Wow.
then when we get to the study room, now everybody does one thing about that is that if it's a scholarship, we apply to get we you can tell everybody about it. But if it's about a school that you've searched to get, we have what we call don't establish local competition. So you don't tell your friend. Because if you tell me we are all coming from KUSA economics department, I'm applying to the same department in US. You also apply.
Yeah.
So we think that only one person is going to get it.
Yeah.
So for your own safety, don't tell the guy who has the highest CWA. That's the GPA. So yeah. So I actually applied to about in the US and US. I think I applied to Ohio University.
Ah,
I applied
my
to
school.
yes. I applied to Ohio. I applied to is it Carolina School of Mines.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I applied to I can I even recollect some of the schools?
No, if you
But
don't remember, it's fine.
I applied to 4 schools in the
Yeah.
US. In this,
Wow. Ohio
yeah,
University, you definitely pay the application fee,
all
right?
all of them, I paid application fees. For us, we have this thing that my friend was telling me that you see everything that is free, everybody is going to go after the free
Yeah.
thing. So
Exactly.
we have to distinguish ourselves in a way.
Yeah.
So by paying for the application fees. I
Man.
know it was stressful, master. I have
It's
to
not
empty
easy.
my
It's not
accounts
easy.
and pay it. At the end, I
Mm.
think it's worth it. It's worth it. And after the US schools that then my friend came to me that, oh, he heard SciencePo has open applications. I said, okay. Then he himself said he knows someone who is already there. So he's organizing a Zoom meeting
Mm.
on this day. So if I'm available, I should join. So we just joined the Zoom and the guy just took us through the essays and he's like, I think
Wow.
the main thing I picked from that meeting was like, hey, if you are applying those essays they're asking you to write, that's what determines whether you get it or not. So don't joke with them. Write the best essays you can.
Yeah.
So I just picked that one into my head and then off we go. So when the application came and Mastercard, a day, some of my colleagues were done because the application isn't actually difficult. We already have all the documents because that was our main job.
Wow.
And it's like I took time. Like I would just wake up a day because that was my sole job. When I wake up from bed after eating, I will write 250 words. It took me 2 weeks
Wow.
to write
So,
250 essays.
man, this is the thing. I love your story because your story is about the reality of the study abroad process, not all
Yes.
these things that people will be posting. No, this no application fee, full scholarship, all these things that people are sharing. That's not the reality. So, wow.
That's like that's not it. This one comes with struggle. There's
Yeah.
nothing free. There's
Yeah.
nothing free. And
Yeah.
this is the hell I went through writing them. I will write a full 500 words. By the time I realize my hand is on the backspace and
Wow.
everything is gone, you have to start again. Because they're
Man.
asking you to
Ah.
tell them your education journey in 250 words.
Yeah.
So you don't even know. I don't even know. Should I tell them about a time in my high school where I help students to do this, or I
Yeah.
should focus on like all the stories? The stories keep coming, and you don't know which
Yeah.
one to actually select
Yeah. How
to
to
write
squeeze
about.
everything into
Exactly.
50
So
words. Yeah.
and not only that, I also applied to one of these Erasmus Mandus
Yeah.
scholarships. So I think Canada too. For Canada, I even though I open application portal apply, but because of the application fee, my money got finished and I had to
You
just
didn't
back down.
apply. Okay.
Yeah, and only US plus the Erasmus Mandus and then Mastercard. In total, I applied to 7 schools. To be sincere, 7, and all of them, it's only the Erasmus and the Mastercard that I paid. Okay, and then I applied to Mastercard in Canada as well. There was a Mastercard scholarship there.
Mm,
That one I got called for an interview, but just like you said, I didn't get it
mm.
because I didn't get admission to that program. The program
Okay.
requires that you have work experience, you have whatever,
Wow. But you
and
got a scholarship, but you didn't get an admission.
so I would say I didn't get the scholarship because I got called for an interview. But I expect that like all the signs were showing me that boy, you're going to get a scholarship. But if you don't get admission, it
You
means the
can't get a
scholarship
scholarship.
you will
Okay.
not even be considered for it.
Yeah.
So I was obviously I didn't get that one because of the admission.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that was the 7 schools, and this is just to tell people that it's
Yeah.
not that nothing is easy about
It's
it.
not easy, man.
You have to really fight for it. You
Yeah.
have to, and one thing to just like I told you about my friend, you have to surround yourself with somebody with the same mindset.
That's true. Yeah.
You can, you don't, you want to go study abroad, then you are with somebody who wants to work in Ghana.
Yeah.
You are
That's
with
right.
somebody who think that the whole process is a scam or who thinks
Yeah.
it's too easy.
Waste of time. Yeah.
And it wasn't just that we were there doing the thing. Oh. For every application, we get somebody in the school, we do Zoom
Yeah.
interview, we take your number, a whole lot.
Wow.
And we usually have what we call we're having sessions. We can just pick up somebody I know in the US. Then I invite my friend, he comes to join me. Then we do about an hour meeting. Then the person talks to us how
Mm.
the process can be daunting, what should
Wow.
keep you motivated, and a whole lot that. So
Wow.
the main takeaway in this, I would say, is that surround yourself with somebody with the same mindset.
That's true.
Else, it's not possible. Myself, I'm just saying, you apply to two schools and the pressure you will fold. The pressure is just too much. Writing personal essay or whatever, it's not easy. Oh. You
It's not
have to
easy.
crack your head
It's
and
not easy.
align your motivation to whatever.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
So you have to get the people around you that will
Yeah.
maybe when your motivation is even low, they will motivate you to
Yeah.
do better. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a Science Pro and then the Erasmus, right?
I think the Erasmus, I didn't get it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get for all the schools you can imagine. I got SciencePo, I got it. Then was it the US schools too? None of them. I got funding for only
Ohio University.
Ohio University. Is and the rest I didn't get funding. There was like I should wait on a bit. They are still. I'll email the coordinator. There's like wait on a bit. We are still
Mm.
sorting out the funding. So, but the Mastercard kind of it actually came earlier. So
Mm.
the moment I got it, I stopped worrying myself with the US and other things.
You got funding at Ohio University, but because the Mastercard offer was better, you decided to go to you decided to go to France, right?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly, exactly. Because the Ohio, I would probably need to buy my own ticket, get accommodation.
Yeah, I mean it's not
Yeah,
easy, but yeah.
yeah. And the Mastercard is just pick your handbag and let's go.
And you mentioned your friends a lot, right? So these your friends, where are they now?
I think I was having about 4 friends,
Mm,
but one was like a right hand man. We sleep together,
mm.
stayed in the same room. One is now he's in US. He's in Eastern Michigan University,
Okay, economics, right? They have
also economics.
economics program. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Then one two, which is a lady. She also got the Mastercard scholarship at Cambridge, but the unfortunate happens. She was supposed to go and study philosophy. The program is complicated. I can't even that linguistic science or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So she was required to submit a language proficiency.
Yeah.
So he submitted a language proficiency from the KUST English department, but the school declined. They said that the program he studied Akan language in KUST, and even her thesis was in
I
Twi
can.
Akan. So I think the school weren't convinced that he had the
Yeah.
requirement. Besides,
Wow.
it's not just any ordinary program. You are coming to study the science of linguistics, especially English. So
Yeah.
for that matter, they asked him to write uh,
Man.
the thing. So I think he took it about 4 times. They required 7.5, but all the time he always gets 7, 7, 7. He took it four
Wow.
times and Unfortunately, she
Four
couldn't come.
times.
Four.
That's not something you wanna be in because man,
Yeah.
wow.
So it's heartening. So it comes with success and it comes with failure. The other guy, I had another guy who was also with us. He didn't get, and so now he's also applying. We are offering him the best help we can, and just to tell people that there are failures there. It's not only success stories. Just as you are doing it, know that you can get it and you may not get it, but with a lot of effort, you able to get it. Just to highlight few things. That my friend, I think he didn't get it. It's not. It's just some things that we thought he did wrong, but we are not in the panel. I remember when we were applying to Russia. But I didn't even, I got one scholarship to at Russia, but I wasn't my parents was like my parents were like go, and then some people are like, how do you go to Russia? Yeah, so but for example, when we are applying to Russia, that my friend, they asked him to upload his passport picture, as in like a passport picture. You
Yeah.
know what he did? He just snapped his voter ID and uploaded it.
Wow.
We all know they just need your face. It's not
Yeah.
traveling passport they're asking for. Then I saw him like, boy, you have to change this. He didn't mind me.
Yeah.
And then when he's writing his SOPs, he doesn't take time. What mostly he does is that you are there for the thing. Then you use only a day is 24 hours. You use only 1 hour to focus on the essay and you write it poorly, and then you use another some hours to watch Facebook. Then those things doesn't, so it's like I've seen that there is always a positive correlation between the effort and the result.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So is this my friend that is in the US. To be sincere, he's really determined and he's the one who has been a side motivation for me. Who has been a side motivation. So
Wow.
the day he was there was a joy, and
Yeah.
still we speak and then we recount our experience, and it's really interesting. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. So do you remember the first 3 days in France? What did you do?
Hey, I don't want to. This is first 3 days. I
Yeah.
think we came earlier than every other student. The school, I think most graduate school they have what we call welcome week. So the
Okay.
welcome week was actually a week before school resumption itself. So we arrive at the um this welcoming week. So the first thing was first when we just arrived, we didn't even rest. We were taken around to roam around and see. It was just where we were staying. Where we were staying is a big place full of accommodation, and those accommodation are just for students alone,
Okay.
nobody else. So
Yeah.
we just went around room, and the first thing that was surprising to me was actually around 9 p.m. the sun was so there,
Yeah.
like nothing. So I'm like, what's happening? Is the world coming to
That's
an end?
heaven. That's heaven for you. That's
I'm
what
like,
happens in heaven.
yeah. And 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 the second day was also, I think the second day was where we got lost in the train station. France, France has like this, their metro system is very complicated, and usually it's not that complicated, but if you are new, it's very
Yeah.
complicated. So we got lost, and then we were with some few directions. Later on we pick up, and I think they, as Mastercard scholars, like we were usually through Mastercard activities. The other one was we're taken to, there's this popular river in Paris called River Seine. They have what we call a boat cruise. So on the boat cruise, it's like the river passes through some of the most popular places in
Mm.
Paris you usually hear of. So while you're on the boat, you will see the Eiffel Tower, then they
Yeah.
will tell you the history of it. Then you
Ah.
see the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Okay.
I think that's the two most popular places you hear. Then there are other things that they talk about, but those things are not that popular if you are not in France.
Mm.
But I think the boat cruise was kind of worth it. After that, we just went to some. We went to, there's this popular museum in France called Louvre. We went to Louvre, then we went to, I think, yeah, it's just Louvre, but we didn't even go inside, but it was worth it. We just
Mm,
go see the pyramids, and
yeah.
it was enjoying.
Yeah. What about language? Have you had issues with language? Do you speak French, bonjour, and all this stuff?
Yeah. Oh, bonjour, ça va? Je parle français, petit. Yeah,
Seriously,
kind
I don't
of.
understand.
Before I came here, like I can't even say Vienne, like come. I can't even say come. That the school always have what we call. If we're in France here specifically, let me say Paris. I asked somebody who is a French, and he told me that it's a Paris thing. If you don't even understand French, you are good to go. One thing about English is that English is now the global language.
Yeah.
Every other language comes second.
Yeah.
So in Paris, whether you understand English or you don't, you can go anywhere. Even the train itself, when they are making announcements, it's just some few announcements that they don't translate in English. But most of them they train make it in French and then it makes it in English. So for the
Okay.
outside it was cool. But for in school that's even where it's better because the school one thing I've realized is that everybody here understands at least three languages. He speaks English, speaks French, and then his old language. It could be German, it could be Spanish, it could be
Mm.
Italian, it could be
Oh wow.
Russian, those kind of. So for language barrier on campus, you will never be stranded anywhere you go. Anywhere you go, they speak English, they speak
Nice.
French, they do everything. So you don't have to. Maybe some few random people you see on the street that cannot speak English, but
Mm.
for them they can say go calm those things, but you will not have any problem to be sincere. For now, I'm learning French just for the pride of speaking it. But I
Yeah, it's
don't,
it's it's a good language.
yeah, there's no requirement attached to you learning it.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's just the school have this well structured language course. If you want to
Okay.
learn Arabic, you want to learn Swahili, you want to
Mm.
learn English, it's there for you. So
Nice.
I'm taking a French class. I think now I'm in A2. I finished A1. It means that I can use it to buy things. I can use it to do. Yeah. So I'm in A2. I hope
Nice.
by the end of A2, when I listen to the news, I should be able to understand some things.
Nice. Nice.
Mm.
Mastercard takes care of all your needs. You don't really have to spend anything, out of pocket from anywhere. But do you have the room to look for other jobs? Because I know people in France who actually work, right? And you having everything taken care of for you, do you think, are you allowed to work outside, the school?
Yeah, I think if you have a work and then your schedule permits you,
You can
you,
still do it in addition to the
you
scholarship.
in addition, they don't even sometimes there was even one time that one of the officers in the scholarship sent a job to us.
Oh, okay.
So you can
Nice.
still work as long as your school schedule permits. But the
Nice.
unfortunate thing I've realized is that depending on your course, here the course system is kind of a way. Me, for instance, I wish I could work, but it's just like my course every day I'll have to go to class. But I have colleagues who are able to structure their courses. For them, they don't have compulsory courses. You know, economics, everywhere you go,
Yeah.
micro, macro,
Micro, macro.
econometric.
Yeah,
Those
econometrics.
three courses you
Those
have to
three.
do them.
Yeah.
So for them, they were and all these three courses we still go for tutorials. You can imagine
Yeah.
master students. So it's like they've spread it across the week. So for me, working is not actually good, but
Yeah. Maybe in
it,
future.
in future
Yeah.
there's no pressing need to work.
Exactly. You're too comfortable. Let me put it that way.
Not too comfortable to say because you can never be comfortable with looking for money.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I have this semester. I think I have a colleague who is doing internship because he's able to structure his courses such that he goes to class on Monday and Tuesday. And those days is just like 24/7. He goes to class from 8 to somewhere around 9
Mm,
midnight,
mm,
like in the night. So, but the other days he gets free time to go to his internship. That's where he gets money. But
mm.
I think because within our cycle we get stipend, I don't know anybody who is actually working. Yeah, and there's also this restriction. You can work, but the language barrier.
Yeah.
Most of these jobs, even though if you understand English, it's okay. But there are times that somebody will come who doesn't understand. So they always require that you should be able to speak French. So
Mm.
that kind of barrier is also there for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I met one Nigerian girl who told me that she got a job at Disneyland. For those who don't know, France have a Disneyland.
Mm.
They got a job at Disneyland, and she it's like the process was almost done, and they told her that at least
Wow.
she should be able to say some few things in French, maybe come go, and the lady is just lights out. When I say lights out, it means that nothing.
Yeah.
So it was
Wow.
they didn't give her the job.
Man, that's brutal. Wow.
That's the
So
unfortunate side of it.
yeah, you mentioned a Nigerian. Do you have an idea how many Ghanaians and Africans are in your school?
In the scholarship recruited about four of us from Ghana.
Mm.
Four of us. Before I came here, I knew only one of them. We were both scholars at KUST.
Oh, okay.
But the rest, I didn't know them, the other two. But in SciencePo, so the four of us who came through Mastercard plus one other lady, she completed assessment. So I just met her randomly. When I see somebody who looks like me, I just want to know your story. As it's one of those instances that I met, and
Uh,
then
okay.
we talked, and she says she's from Ghana. There was one time too. There was a program at I think for science where I can say that there are four Ghanaians I know. Okay, there's also one Ghanaian PhD student at the School of Urban Studies. So I know of five Ghanaians in the
Mm.
school. I know five Ghanaians, yeah. But we all do different programs. For me, I'm in the School of Research. One is in the urban, is in the urban school. One is in the School of Impact. So we hardly even see each other. Yeah.
Mm. But what about Africans in general? Do you have an idea? I mean, just an approximation.
Mm, I don't know because the
Uh,
African Student Union, I'm not actually there. I've never attended any. Though I like those kind of activities. The last semester the course was bullying me, wanted to
yeah.
slaughter me, so I just stepped back.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
But I see most of the scholarships, the Mastercard scholars, the 20 of us, we are all in Sciences Po. Then we have other Africans. I see them. I saw somebody from Sudan, somebody from the other people from Rwanda. Yeah,
Mm.
but I
Yeah.
think we shouldn't. They are not up to 100, or I don't think we are up to 50 self.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
Be. Mm. Yeah. Go on.
when you're in Paris, there's this thing. Initially, when I landed there, I was like, is this like is this Accra with some white people? Like you don't feel that, like
It's
you don't
abroad.
feel taken out of your society. You still see people that you feel that
A lot
these
of black
people,
people,
a
right?
lot of black people, to say it
Yeah.
that way. There are a lot of black people in Paris. They
And
are.
the surrounding, is it like dirty? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, not that. Just that there are lots of black people. Like I
Okay.
didn't expect that before coming. My expectation was that the moment you land, everybody is going to be white.
Why? Sorry.
Yeah, but when we came, I think a lot of black people. The only time you feel that there are a lot of white people is when you are in school. In school, you don't get to see. For example, in my class, I'm the only black person.
Mm.
So, but it doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't say anything. And like people talk about experience, me, I've never had any encounter of anything racism
Like
or anything.
racism. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
chill with all my classmates. We talk,
Mm.
we do assignments together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Being someone from the north, you have your own foods and all of that which you're familiar with, and normally when you're taking out of your you know environment to a different one, one thing that you might struggle with is food, because France, you might end up being exposed to burgers and stuff like that, and you might not like them. Have you struggled with food in France?
I think when I came, that's one of the first things. My class, there's this friendship that, oh, after a program, there's like, let's go and take lunch. So there was one day this lunch I have to follow because I need to integrate. So when I when I went with them, but the food I had to just swallow it. It's I wasn't eating. I have to just swallow it
Yeah,
because it's like it was because that was the first time I was taking a different food and it was totally out of what I've been
yeah,
tasting.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but because I stay, I cook. Usually, I cook my food. The
Mm,
only few times I had to buy food was if you see me eating food that I've not cooked, it means that I'm just following friends to go and eat.
mm,
Usually, you need this connection. So when they are
yeah,
going to take lunch, even though you don't feel it, you have to just be with the people to create that kind of connection. Because if you are
yeah.
always excluded as a class, you're going to miss a lot.
That's true. Yeah,
So because of that, sometimes I follow them. I go. If it's even some juice, I also drink. Sometimes too, I also try to take the food and then make fun. But I just cook all the time. I cook. I cook.
nice,
Yeah, I cook my rice, jollof, some things. Yeah.
nice, nice.
Mm.
What has been your biggest challenge in France?
Mm. Hmm.
I mean, you are comfortable, so I guess there is no challenge so far.
So
Maybe
the challenge,
you are just enjoying yourself.
no, I wouldn't say that because well, like out of class, I wouldn't say I have a challenge, but I would say the weather is not friendly in the winter. Even though they say it's not as cold as in other countries, but I'm not having it easy because in the morning you have class 8 and you wake up and the place is still dark and very cold. So
Yeah,
it's
man.
that's one of my when I wake up every morning, it's like I can't
So
even describe. I'm so tired and unable to leave my room. Yes.
yeah,
And the other challenge had to come in my classes. Like the course has initially when we came, it's like it has blown out of my expectations. There's economics, we all know that economics, there's a lot of maths involved. I know that
yeah,
coming here, my expectations were all I have those expectations. But what I witnessed, I thought there were going to be some sort of a transition,
yeah,
like maybe you climb from smaller equations, maybe from equations with degree one to equations with degree five, and all of
yeah,
a sudden we are somewhere.
yeah,
So initially the academics wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, and then
yeah,
it's mostly the academic period that I have some few troubles. But now I'm more comfortable because it's a different system. For example, in Ghana, when they are giving you questions, you choose to maybe they bring four questions, answer three. If they
yeah.
bring five, answer four.
Mm,
So I'm used to making this kind of choices in exam. But here it's not like that. When you are
yeah,
giving a exams paper, you are answering all.
yeah, yeah,
All. So and beside in Ghana they mark exams out of 100 or maybe above and then they bring it down. Here every exams is marked out of 20. So the initial midterm we took, I would see a question that will probably 0.25 that I have to work for. So me, I'll just do something small, thinking that I'm going to get that mark because it's just 0.25. But at the end, I realized that that mark I should have multiplied by five because that's actually out of 100 to see the real value of it.
uh,
And I think when I
oh
realized that
yeah,
in the exams, I did something and I'm now I think that I've gotten the system.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. As an economic student, personally, what I've observed, comparing economics here in Ghana is the fact that here there is a lot of maths, a lot
Yes.
of maths, and if you are not really good with mathematics, you are probably going to struggle. Like it's crazy, but in Ghana, I think they don't prepare us well for the maths required to do economics at advanced level. I never did maths in economics, even though I majored in economics, right? So I think you know if I were head of department, at any head of economics department at any Ghanaian university, I will make it compulsory that economic students have to take mathematics courses outside the department, like from the maths department. It is very important because, yeah, it is. They have no idea. I don't know which is good because here it's like you have to know maths. A lot of, like a lot of maths. Like it's crazy. A lot of maths, and we are not well equipped. to handle some of these things. So it's not easy. Like it's not easy. So
The-
that's one thing I've observed. And then you
choose-
mentioned you wake up
Mhm.
and then it's like you feel rusty, you feel tired and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you know something I did right was I got not too long ago actually I got a treadmill, like a small treadmill. So yeah, it's in my room, a small one. So every day I wake up, I just walk a little bit. I mean, I don't do it every day because human beings, we do something small in it. But I have it, and yeah, because the way my life is, I don't go out a lot. If it's not school days, I don't really go out a lot. I'm most of the time in my room. So it's like, yeah, I cannot walk a lot, and so I need this. And so before I go out, I kind of walk a little bit or something. So once you sweat and then you take your shower, when you go out, you can actually handle the weather very well, and it actually prepares you for the day, right? So that's what I do personally. I just thought, and also I don't know, I take coffee every morning. I when I never knew anything about coffee when I was in Ghana, but yeah, I came here and then for 3 years nothing to do with coffee, but then now, yeah, I take coffee once every, like, most of the time once every day, but once sometimes I take another one in the afternoon. But yeah, I take coffee every morning just to start the day. So but yeah.
I think it's a nice thing. I'll have to try. I'll have to try that and see.
Yeah, exercise makes a big difference. Exercise makes a big difference in this school, like it makes a big difference. So yeah, so that's what I would do. But then you should be proud of yourself because, man, like from where you come from and all of that, like you've really done a lot, and your parents, man, they should be so proud of you, like so proud of you, and your village, even your village people, right? Let's assume that I'm in your village, and then let's say I'm 20 years old. Oh no, no, not 20. Let's say I am maybe 16 years old, right? And then I'm done with my high school education, and then
Hmm.
I want you to mentor me, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you can tell me to prepare me for the future so that I can be like you, when I grow up? What can you tell me?
The one thing I've always tell people is that choose your friends well,
Okay.
because
Wow.
it's like whoever you choose to become your friend, your life in one way or the other is going to be like your friend. Some
Yeah.
people say they are not actually, they don't get influenced by their friends, but this is not actually true. With time, even if you don't take everything from the person, you're going to take some things. So me,
Mm.
the first thing I would tell everybody is that choose your friends well,
Wow.
and make sure you choose people who will lead you to wherever you want to be. Because me here, as I'm here, I just attribute it to my friend who has, in the application process, helped me a lot. And even in school, because we have the same goals, we work together in a lot of things, and now those things has helped me a lot. So the first thing I'll tell anybody is that choose your friends well.
Mm.
And secondly,
Wow.
know that the society is polluted a lot. Everybody has something he's looking up to. And with that, that's what is going to change the person's view as to how the society operates.
That's true.
Somebody is going to tell you that if you go to the university, you are going to come out and be part of the unemployment student union. Yes, that is because the person wants to come out and look for employment. So you that is going there not to come out and look for employment, maybe you want to go and then come out, create your own job, or maybe go do abroad studies. You don't have to be worried about this.
Yeah.
So don't just take people's views and then embed them into yourself and let them shape your, have a certain vision and let the vision shape your worldview. That is not that you have to. That is not that you shouldn't learn from people. Learn from people, but be cautious of how you learn from people. Everybody has a way he does his things. This is, and then one thing I will also add is that you have to set goals. Usually, I say the world is too fluid. Like, I was having a big conversation with one of my friends who says that you have to set targets for yourself. Is I was actually against it, but after second thought,
Mm.
I'm like, this is the real way to go. I'm like, the world is unpredictable. I can't set a goal that maybe in 2 years I want to be here. In 3 years, I want to be here. The world
Yeah.
will even throw me to anywhere. But the thing is that I've come to realize that, they say Harvard did this study about their MBA graduates. They said the top 3% who have the top 3%, they study all of them, they track them for some years, and they realize that there are some 3% of those graduates who have about, they say, three times the wealth of the rest, like the wealth of the
Yeah.
rest. And what did they do uniquely? It was the fact that they were able to set goals. Even this set goals is not actually, it's not just about setting goals as to what you want to do in the long run,
Mm.
but if a day or a week or a
Yeah.
whole month, plan what you want to achieve, and that is going to be your guide. It has worked for me. Usually, when I want to study, when I want to do everything, I just write it down, place it on the calendar, and know that I have to do this by this. Then I break it down into smaller pieces. Like, I want to do it this is what I want to do in a week. This is what I want to do in 1 month, and in a year, this is what I want to do, and it actually helps you. So I
Yeah.
think these two things, these three things I've mentioned, that's the first
Oh.
things I will tell everybody. And maybe depending on your circumstance, I'll have to add more. I will have to
Yeah.
add more.
That's
Yeah, and
true.
then
Yeah.
don't then just look at your barriers as barriers. Everything is possible, to be sincere. Today, as I sit here, I wouldn't, like, when I was in high school, I wouldn't even think of me being anywhere.
Yeah.
I remember the time I met one of my high school teachers. I'm like, I want to go to college after high school. Then he's like, boy, the way you are learning, do you think that's college learning? No, when we say college, maybe that's teacher training college.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's like, the way you are learning, that's not for teacher training college. So he said, if I'm going to teacher training college, if I meet him, I shouldn't greet him again. Then I asked him,
Ah. Wow.
that I should go to the university. I said,
Yeah.
so you want me to go to the university? What will be my source of finance? I'm just
Yeah.
confused. Then he's like, you pass, and after passing, if you can't get to the university, let me see whether you will be there. And sincerely, when I passed, I got the scholarship, and he's like, what did I tell you? I tell you to pass. You
Yeah.
passed. So now see where you are. So it's not about people say, oh, protocol works for everything. It's not only about protocol, but if you are distinct, things are going to work for you. And
That's
always,
true.
I always say that our weapon as people who don't have connection is what we hold as certificate or whatever. That is not to say you shouldn't create connection. You have to create connection. But
Yeah.
imagine that a company wants to hire people. Somebody's certificate, he's having first class. You two, you are having third class. Let's say that if two people, all of them being third class, like I'm saying that the one with connections with his third class will be called to an interview because of his connection. You will be called to an interview because of your first class. So you are using your first class to counterbalance his connection.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I usually say that we those without connection, your results should be on the paper.
Yeah.
So fight and fight and fight. Know that you don't have any connection. You are from a village where
Yeah.
only the sun knows. So you
Yeah.
have to fight harder for some of those things. So these four things you have to, don't be in despair. Have hopes. Choose your friends wisely, and guide yourself with goals that you want to do. Prepare your
Yeah.
to-do list and all those things. Yeah, I think that these
Yeah.
are things that have worked for me, and I will encourage everyone to take them out.
Yeah, those are powerful advice,
Yeah.
and you've actually articulated them so well.
Mm.
Just to tell you a little bit about myself, actually, when I finished high school, my parents couldn't. There was no way they could actually sponsor me in the university. I'm telling you.
Mm.
But then I did well in the after high, like in the WASI, and so that opened up a door for me. I went to the university. I worked hard. I knew where I was coming from. I had to work hard, and I ended up with 3.8 out of 4.0, and
Oh.
then yeah, and that opened the door for me to, as soon as I was done national
Mm.
service, as soon as I was done, came to the US. I applied to Ohio University, on January 6th, and then in exactly 3 weeks, I got admission and funding before
Ooh.
the deadline, actually, and all of that. So yeah, and when I tell students put in the work, they're like, it's but some of us, when you know where you come from, it means that it's it's only you can change your life. You cannot rely on your family. Your family, they don't know how to change your life for you because they've not changed anything before you were born. So it's like everything is on you. Either
Exactly.
you either you do it or you die. So yeah, people want easy routes. Your parents are not rich and you want easy routes. Like, are you kidding me? How can you get easy routes? No. If your parents are not rich, it means if you have to sleep 2 hours and then put in the work because that is the only
Yes.
way for you. It's not your fault that you were born into a poor family, but it is your fault if you don't make the best out of that, right? So
Exactly. That's it. That's
yeah.
it.
So if you really said a lot of powerful things, and anyone who is able to watch this video to this point, I mean, is has to really take this seriously. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's really good to hear from you. And your story, I mean, anyone who knows the North knows that there are not a lot of opportunities in the North, even the school you go to and all of that. So for you to excel as somebody from the north means, man, you talked about the network, right? You talked about network issues and all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, all these things you had to overcome them, but you gave yourself the you gave yourself the chance to succeed, and then yeah, that opened a lot of doors for you. So yeah, this is just the way life is. So yeah. So I mean, after everything, I just want to find out a few things, and then yeah. So a lot of people are interested in the Mastercard scholarship. Everyone who hears the Mastercard is like, oh wow, they pay your flights, they give you this, all these benefits. You've already described them so well, and it's the offer from Mastercard is very juicy, right? It's very obvious that it's juicy. Do you think anyone can get it? Especially if, like, okay, for example, if I have a GPA of 2.7 out of 4.0, will I be able to get it? Or like what advice will you give me? Because yeah, I mean that's really difficult, right?
Yeah. I think the Mastercard criteria. I can talk of SciencePo
Yeah.
where I am specifically, but in all other cases too, it's similar. One thing about SciencePo is that in France we have what we call Grand École. These schools are the top schools. They are not top, they are the elite schools. For example,
Mm.
Science has produced about 16 of past the, French prime ministers and
Oh,
presidents. Exactly. So in France, when you hear a grand école, it means that the school is for the elite. It's just of late that
Ivy League, like Ivy League, right?
exactly,
Wow.
exactly. It's just of late that they are trying to break that kind of thing. That is for only rich kids. It's for so now they
Uh,
are trying to break it. It's not the thing is that so it tells you that if it's even difficult for locals to get into, you as an outsider, you can
yeah,
imagine
man.
you need so the Mastercard decides that though your community things and other things matter, but your grade must also distinct you. Because, for example, if you come to when I'm in class with people and you see the kind of people you are with, you realize that if you are not determined, you can't succeed. So for grades are also important because I think that because when I compare my profile with some of my other colleagues, I tend to believe that the only thing that distinct me from some of my few friends that I've known is just because of the grade. It's because of the grade. So I think that the grade plays an important part, and you have to, if you have intentions. That's why I tell people who wants to study abroad that you can start the journey anytime, but you'll be fortunate if you start it in your first years at the university where you can make a lot of changes. So I wish this your video, those in
Yeah,
level 100, level 200, they get to watch it.
yeah.
Must start there and build your credentials. You know that if I'm going to graduate school, there's nothing better than higher CW or GPA. You have to make it as high as possible so that the doors will always be open for you. I think the grade plays an important role. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
So if I come to you that I need guidance, not to do it for me because nobody can do this thing for you. You have to do it yourself, but then you need somebody to guide you, If I come to you to guide me to get a Mastercard scholarship to study abroad, what will you tell me?
First, the essays that Mastercard asks you to write. I beg. Now we have an easy way of writing things that nobody tends to. You just put it in ChatGPT and then it gives you that. As one of my lecturers would say, ChatGPT generated texts are just banal, like empty. There's nothing there. So when I review people essays, I'm always concerned.
Yeah.
You see, even we know our grammar isn't good. So craft the story. Make sure that you write it yourself. Maybe you can ask ChatGPT to correct the grammatical errors
Yeah.
for you, but make sure that it's your own story. That's one thing
Exactly.
I would say because I kind of think that the essays that I write also kept me there. I wrote also kept me in that position because they were personal and they kind of don't be specific. Don't say in my high school I couldn't pay my fees and in the university it was difficult. Some people just make those kind of statements. Everybody is going to, or somebody in the worst case scenario, somebody will just say, in my high school I faced financial difficulties. That's all. And he's done. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody's
Everybody
going to
is.
write face
Yeah.
financial difficulties and what's going.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that make just assume that if you are the one reviewing the essays, which essay will you pick? So
Yeah.
first, make it personal. Like if I'm reading, let me feel the connection. Be specific. Sometimes my guidance is always that if it's possible, I know the space is not always enough. But if you are going to tell them about one story, make sure you add some few figures. Probably you may even add some dates to just let them know that that thing still sticks in your head. That way they kind of feel that, oh, what this guy is saying is like is really with him wherever he goes. So I usually tell make it personal, be specific about whatever you are saying, you are
Yeah.
talking about. So these two things with regards to the AC is that's it. And then go through your AC, read, and proofread it. Don't and the other thing I would say is that if you are going to apply, get somebody who is already there,
Yeah.
guide you through. That is the best thing I'm going because the person is going to whatever I'm telling you is how I did it. Maybe somebody next door didn't do the same thing, but he got it. So if you get that person, he will tell you a story how he got it, and then you build on his experience
Yeah.
to also write whatever or fill your application form. So I always tell people that if you can even get as many as three people, consult all of them aggregate their experience, and then you will now have one overarching experience that you can
Yeah.
use to do your aces.
Yeah.
So don't
That's
just
nice.
go empty headed and start filling it. LinkedIn, they've all kept it on their profile because you are proud to be a scholar. So
Yeah.
that you go to LinkedIn, get all of them and help them because all these people they all know their circumstance. So when you email them, they are going to respond. And if you
That's
give
true.
them essays, they are going to review them for you. All of them. So the
That's
first thing I would
nice.
say is
Yeah.
that get somebody and then make your essays specific. Yeah.
When should I start?
Hmm. As where should you start? I don't.
Like when? Like so. Let's say I graduate from the university in May,
Hmm.
and I want to apply for the Mastercard scholarship. Like to let's say come to Science Pro. When
Yeah.
should I start the process?
Okay, I think the SciencePo application cycle is always like this. They usually open the application in October, I think. Yeah, they usually open in October. And then for the school application, the deadline is always ahead, maybe somewhere January. But for the scholarship application, if you want to be considered for the scholarship, you have to submit the scholarship. The date varies, but it's usually between 1st and 5th December. Our time it was 5th December, but just this year was 1st December.
Okay.
So if you want to apply, the time is not enough. You have October, November. That's just the 2 months that you have. You have to apply. So get prepared within those two periods and then submit your application. That's the period you have to hunt for it.
But I need to start the application materials before that time, right? Before the October, right?
Yeah, you have to know your unique experience. For example, some people are there getting the documents wouldn't take time. So with that, you don't need to. I don't see why you have to start. But basic preparation, someone who is prepared is always ahead. So if you get all of them together, like your transcript, you don't want the time you want to get the transcript. They will tell you that University Workers Union are on strike, and you
Yeah.
can't get yours. So make sure your transcript is ready Make sure your English proficiency, you get it down. Make sure you've spoken to whoever will be providing you with the recommendation letter to be ready. You get these things in place. Now, when the thing comes, your job is to write the essays and then alert the people who will be submitting the documents to do their work. So I think there's preparation involved because the period is just a month and a half or two, which is very limited for you to do a lot, but enough if you are prepared. So I will, just like you said, I will encourage that you prepare ahead of time, and that will pitch you ahead of everybody else. Yeah.
Okay. The essays that you mentioned, do they change the questions every year or the same questions?
Per my experience so far, the essays that I wrote and this year's essays, they are the
Mm,
same essays. But I don't know whether subsequently they will modify it. But
mm,
this our year and this year is
the
the
same
same
thing.
essay.
Mm,
Yeah, the same questions.
mm. If I want to study in France, whether on Mastercard scholarship or not, what are some universities that you recommend to me?
Okay, I think France, studying in France, for example, they maybe you can come through the Erasmus and come through the Mastercard, but there are other things. For example, some schools like if you are somebody who wants to do economics, I think you can look at the Paris School of Economics, which is the best department in the country. You can look at the Toulouse School of Economics, which is also one of the best, and then maybe SciencePo comes third. But there are other schools which I think I met someone who didn't come here as a scholar, and she was telling me her experience. I was really surprised. She told me that the fees she had to pay was just 200 euros. That's her fee. And then the rest was she has to pay for her accommodation and her feeding. But her master's was just a year. So I don't know for the school, but the school is in the south of France. So that is to tell you that there are schools which fees are not that expensive. Even if you are not on scholarship, you can afford to come and study and probably transition into work here.
Mm,
But for scholarships, that's what I can tell. For the scholarship, I know of only Mastercard. I know of, okay, even SciencePo itself runs on scholarships. I know of a Sudanese lady who is benefiting from one of them now. But those scholarships are very, very competitive because it's like so far she's the only black lady I've met that said she's benefiting from that scholarship.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have learned so much from this conversation, not just the experiences relating to the Mastercard scholarship, but also, wisdom about life and the, the reality of how difficult it is to achieve something. Like, if somebody sees your profile on LinkedIn, the person might think, oh, yeah, he just, yeah, he just got lucky or something. But then these things, it takes a lot of dedication. You
Yeah.
and your friends, you decided to stay on campus beyond graduation, beyond completion of your program, just so that you can work on these things and all of that. Somebody will be like, let me go back home and go and enjoy. And,
Okay.
if you can't make those sacrifices, then why do you want to come? Why do you want to study abroad? Like, so
Exactly.
yeah, it's a lot, and I really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate it so much. If someone wants to follow you, where can they do that?
No, for me, I would say the best place to reach me is just on LinkedIn
Mm,
because if you send me a message, if anything is going to come and I'm going to reply. So I think we can't put our numbers out, but when you go
yeah,
to LinkedIn and you send me a message and you request for my number, I'm going to share it with you because you can have my number.
yeah,
You can chat me anytime. You want guidance, I'm ready to provide.
mm, yeah.
Also, maybe I don't know. I Twitter too. I'm there.
Okay,
People can follow me just as Bakwa Abdul.
okay.
At
I'll take those details after the
yeah,
conversation.
okay.
Are
At,
you on TikTok?
no, I am not on TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay,
think social media kind of distracts me a lot, so I just want to limit my social media use. Yeah, for now,
okay,
I'm using only. Though I have accounts with the rest, sometimes when somebody send you a link to watch something so that you can go to the link and watch, but I just use only Twitter and LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
That's
Okay.
my social medias. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to say shout out to family back home or anybody, friends, just anybody? Yeah.
Yeah, I think before I came here, I was a teaching assistant in KUC. So I want to do a shout out to my students. Probably when you're done with the video, I think they have to watch it. I am I'm happy to have taught them, and
Yeah.
I think that some of
Nice.
them have a better future. And you can see great minds in the class when you are teaching reasonable
Uh,
questions, nice performance in exams, and I believe that they are going to produce some best students. And
nice.
I also do a shout out to my friend in Eastern Michigan. He's
Uh,
been so helpful, and yeah, for my family too. Probably they will want to watch and see me talk. So
yeah.
I say shout out to them too for maybe for being there for me, especially my father. He's been one of the most helpful people I've had in
Yeah.
life, and my sisters as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot one thing. So what are your plans after your program? Do you plan to do PhD, US, Germany, another country? What are your plans?
For now is that's one of the dilemmas for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, usually I'm thinking of if I'm done with master, should I just be working and move on
Make
with
some
life,
money.
or I should maybe do a PhD? So, though with time, I'm thinking that boy, just do the PhD, and then maybe wherever you go, you also have a PhD. Then
Yeah.
I'm thinking about
Doc.
the 3 years. Maybe if I want to do a PhD in France here, it's going to take me 3 years
Mm.
because I've done masters in the same school, it's just going to be 3 years. But if I want to go to the US, which is maybe the repository of knowledge, yes,
I guess.
yeah, which is the repository of knowledge, it will take me 5 years.
Yeah.
So that those 5 years is kind of
Intimidating.
it's kind of it's a demotivation to me
Yeah.
as whether to go to the US. Because I think that for our department is not though the department was actually set up in 2009, and today if you check his status you think that it has performed well because from 2009 and now maybe if we check economics department in the world somewhere for the first position, and I know that with time if we check the professor's profile you know that the department has a goal and they are trying to achieve it. This
Nice.
Princeton, Yale University, Harvard graduates that are there taking us through. So you think that. So
Uh,
it's like some of them themselves, they say that doing a PhD here is good. That for them, they did it in the US because that's the repository of knowledge. And as at the time they were going there, like none of the French universities in terms of economic school stood up to the
yeah.
status of the US. Even though to date same can be said, but now they are also doing comparatively well. So I
Mm.
still have that edge maybe to continue here or to go to the US. I haven't settled on any decision. But
Yeah.
I hope you those that are there you can guide me through.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah. Yeah. The thing about a PhD in the US is that you would have to take the GRE and you have to
Mm,
do well, like that helps a lot. The
okay.
GRE, and also, yeah, in the past publications were not really, but now it's like, yeah, I mean, if you don't have publications, research interest is very important, but if you have a publication, I think that can also help. But yeah, but the test scores, yeah, I think they are probably the most important application material in my opinion. Economics, yeah, the
Okay.
GRE, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And obviously recommendation letters too are very, very important, so yeah.
Mm,
But yeah, if I think you should consider doing a PhD, because that is if you want to do it at some point, because if you don't want to leave and then come back, like, nah. If you
mm,
really want PhD, then you have to do it after masters. But if you don't want to do PhD, then yeah, I will not leave and then come back to do PhD again. It's not friendly like that, in my opinion. So
mm.
yeah.
I see. I see.
Yeah, but thanks a lot, and I really wish you the best, and hopefully, you're able to make the best decision for your life. And sometimes you can actually make a decision which is probably not the best, but then you can make it the best,
The
right?
basic, yeah.
By doing certain things, and you can always, correct whatever it is, and you can never know what the outcome is going to be for taking one action over another. We just never know. We just never know what is. We just try to make the best given the information we have, right? And we
Yeah.
are limited people, but Yeah, so just don't think about it too much. Do what you think you want to do, and whatever it is, you figure it out. Yeah. So good luck to you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. And
Yeah.
I want to thank you for bringing me on. I think some of these are some of the videos that helped me to build my resilience and build a strategy as to how to apply to the school. So this
Yeah.
job you are doing is the kind of things that brought me here. I was
Yeah.
always on Twitter Spaces, listening to Study Abroad, joining
Mm,
Telegram channels, with
nice.
YouTube. I was following some people when they have any
Yeah.
session. I'm there. So
Yeah.
those kind of
Nice.
things really help me.
Yeah.
Help me out. So I'm very grateful for you
Yeah.
bringing me to share my experience and you taking
Yeah.
the time to do all these things. And
Yeah.
as a PhD student, even as a master student, I know the work involved and you taking time out of
Yeah.
those writings and those things to
Yeah.
be doing this for our brothers is really
Exactly.
something
Yeah.
I'm grateful for.